Hi friends, Krista here. Thank you so much for stopping by Books and Jams and another Vlogmas video. Today I'm going to be talking about my next round of 5-star predictions. I have chosen 5 more books that I think are going to be 5 stars. But before I get to that, I want to once again talk about the sponsor for this video, and that is Book of the Month. I get so excited every month when I see my blue box out at the doorstep. I just absolutely love this super popular and fast-growing book service where every month their team vets hundreds of upcoming, new, and emerging authors to choose 5 new books for us to choose from. These are all usually new releases, sometimes early releases, sometimes debut authors, and from a variety of genres to choose from. The 5 choices for December look so good. This month there is a contemporary, Olga Dies Dreaming. This is kind of a family set in Brooklyn. This is a family drama set in Brooklyn. We follow brother and sister, Olga and her brother Pedro, and Olga is a wedding planner for Manhattan power brokers. Her brother Pedro is in politics. But when Hurricane Maria hits on the East Coast, their long-lost mother sweeps back into town and they have to face some of these family issues that they had been avoiding. Sounds really good. We have a coming-of-age memoir called Somebody's Daughter by Ashley C. Ford about a young girl growing up with a father who has been incarcerated. So that sounds really good. We have a rom-com set at the holidays, which is just perfect for this time of year, and that's called The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox. This is probably the one that I'm the most excited for. In this one, we have twin sisters who decide they're going to switch places. One of them is currently in a baking competition, but when she falls and hits her head, she loses her sense of smell and taste, which in a baking competition doesn't really help you anymore. And the other sister is running their family bakery back at home. And so the one who is in the competition convinces her sister to switch places. Of course, that affects their relationships and the romances that they're a part of, and some new guys enter the mix. I just think that it sounds delightfully fun. I love a reality TV element in my rom-com, so I just think that this is going to be so much fun to read this December. Another one that sounded super interesting to me was A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. This one is a little bit of a magical realism, but there's a twisty mystery involved as well. An author of dark, macabre children's books goes missing, and the man hired to find her, to track her down, also ends up going missing, and there's a commune involved, and this family that's on the commune discovers or reveals some secrets that they had just learned about each other, and it just spans a couple of decades, but it just sounds twisty and weird and dark. Not my normal type of read, but for some reason, I'm very intrigued by the description of this one. And the 5th choice for December is a thriller called A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. When Chloe, our main character, is 12 years old, teenage girls in her hometown start going missing, and her dad is arrested for being the serial killer. And 20 years later, Chloe is now a psychotherapist or a psychologist in Baton Rouge, getting married for her wedding. And then teenage girls in her town again start going missing. And she is convinced there's some kind of a link. Is she going to discover who the killer is again? Was it not her father the first time around? I don't know. But that is for all my thriller-loving fans out there. If for some reason there's a month that comes up and you're just not interested in any of the 5 choices, you always have the option to skip a month, which is fantastic. You are not forced to pick one of the books that you just don't think you're going to read. You can skip that month and wait till the next month's choices. Also, there are add-ons every month. This month, one of the add-ons is an essay collection by John Green called The Anthropocene Reviewed, which is just a collection of essays. I think the cover is so cool of that one. The add-ons are also in a variety of genres, and you can always add those onto your boxes for a discounted price. And in the month of December, I'm thrilled to tell you, first-time subscribers to Book of the Month can use the code JOLLY to get their box for just $5. And I believe in December, you can choose any of the options, the 5 choices or the add-ons in the month of December. So I just think that Book of the Month is a fantastic service. I hope that you will check them out. I will link all the information down in the description. Let me know if you sign up and which book that you would have picked from this stack. Now I'm going to move on and talk about my next round of 5-star predictions. Now I have notoriously taken a long time to go through the books that I pick in my 5-star predictions. When I have joined with Sarah and Lindsay during their Book List Thursday and their 5-star predictions, I'm able to do it rather quickly and can do it within the 2 or 3 months that they assign me. But when it's on my own, I have a tendency to take a lot longer. But I am determined to read these early on in the year and let you know if they are 5-star predictions. I'm just really excited about this stack, and I'm really hoping for some 5-star reads in here. The first one that I'm going to talk about is a middle grade. I had to include a middle grade. I think I almost always include a middle grade because I just love me some middle grade books. And this one, enough people have already read it and talked about it that it is one that I'm just convinced I'm going to love. And that is A Place to Hang the Moon by Kate Albus. This has been on a TBR before. I just didn't get to it. But this middle grade takes place during World War II and around the time of the London Blitz, when the children of London were sent away into the countryside. We follow this sibling group of William, Edmund, and Anna. They're living with their not so grandmotherly grandmother. She has taken care of them since their parents have died. So they're kind of orphans, and they're honestly kind of excited about this evacuation because it gives them a chance to get away from their not so kind grandmother. But they end up going out into the countryside, hoping to be placed into a temporary home that might become permanent. And they move from one place to another. I think there's some rough situations that they go through, some foster brothers that are unkind, cold realities of outdoor toilets, hollowness of empty stomachs, and they find comfort in the village lending library, whose kind librarian Nora Mueller seems an excellent choice of billet, except that her German husband's whereabouts are currently unknown, and some of the villagers consider her unsuitable. I'm not sure what's going to happen to them, if they're going to end up with this librarian or not, but I love that it's World War II, a sibling group of orphans, and a librarian. The library is a big part of the story. So based on those things that I love, I'm pretty confident that this one's going to be a big hit for me. I'm hopeful. The second one is by an author that I have read. The other book that I've read by this author was on my last 5-star predictions, and it was a 5-star. So is that cheating? I don't know, but I'm choosing Ordinary Grace by William Kent Kruger. I honestly don't really know much about the plot of this one, but I do know, once again, it's going to have a young protagonist, just like This Tender Land did. And it also takes place in the Midwest, and we're going to follow 13-year-old Frank Drum, but he's kind of looking back on his teenage years. So it's 40 years later. Frank is looking back on his life in the 60s in Minnesota 40 years ago. He's a preacher's son. It's a grim summer. Death visited frequently and assumed many forms: accident, nature, suicide, murder. So I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of grief that gets dealt with in here. I've heard some people say that they liked this one better than This Tender Land, but I also haven't heard that many people talk about it. I'm just very excited for this, and I loved his writing in the first one, and I'm pretty convinced that this is going to be 5 stars as well. We shall see. Another author. Actually, I've read all of these authors before, so I'm going in not totally blind with their writing style and what I feel about them. And the next one is Amy Harmon, What the Wind Knows. I loved Where the Lost Wander and From Sand and Ash that I read from her this year, and I just didn't get to this one, and I really wanted to. I know that this one is going to have time travel. I know it takes place in Ireland, part of it in the 1920s, right on the brink of Ireland's war, and it's going to have a love story in it. And I know that I love Amy Harmon. So am I right? Will it be 5 stars? I think so. I think so. The next two I'm a little more unsure about, but very interested in, and I think I'm going to really love them. Jane Harper, The Lost Man. I really love Jane Harper's writing. I think she's really brilliant at setting and making the setting a real part of the atmosphere and almost its own character. And this one is going to take place in the outback in Australia, and the isolation and the dryness and the heat, I just feel like is going to play a big part in this one. In this story, I do know that we follow 3 brothers. One of them is found dead by the other 2, but they're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So if it was murder, the options of who did it are very limited. So was it one of the other brothers? I don't know, but it's about the land that they all take care of, and these three brothers and this one that is found dead. So a little bit of a mystery in there, but I know she is going to make me feel the heat. So maybe I'll save this for a cold, snowy day, because I know that it's going to be like hot and dry temperature when I read this one in the outback. I'm excited. And the fifth book that I'm choosing for a 5-star prediction is the chunkiest of all of them, but I'm really excited to read Codename Helene by Ariel Lahan. This one, again, is a World War II female spy undercover. Like, I just feel like I'm gonna love this book. I know that this is based on a real woman's life, so I'm just also excited about that. I love learning about people in history. So it's 1936. Nancy Wake is a young, free-spirited journalist living in Paris when she falls in love with the wealthy French industrialist Henry Fiocca. No sooner does he sweep her off her feet and convince her to become Mrs. Fiocca that the Germans invade France, and Nancy must take another name, a code name. Dun, dun, dun. So we kind of follow her path of becoming a spy and what she has to do during the beginning of the war. So I'm really excited about that. I know Ariel Lahan has played with structure in some of her books, so I'm curious what she's going to do with the structure of this one. Sometimes that sits well with me and sometimes it doesn't, but I'm just really excited to read this. So these are my 5-star predictions for this round. I have a buddy read scheduled for Ordinary Grace in January, and I absolutely want to read What the Wind Knows soon. And if I'm saving The Lost Man for a snowy day, it's possible I could get to 3 of these in January. So I'm giving myself to the end of March to read these. That's 3 full months plus the end of December. I don't think I'll get to them in December. But I really think that that will be enough time, and I'm really excited. Let me know down in the comments below if you think these will be 5-star reads or not. Many of you know my reading taste really well, and a lot of you have already read some of these. So let me know what you think. Without giving me spoilers, let me know what you think. Yeah, let's chat down in the comments below. You guys know I love talking with you down there. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you so much, and I will be talking to you tomorrow in another Vlogmas video. Bye!